Salutations friends and welcome to another video of SpellForce 3. So, before we join the battle, yeah, weapons, we're pretty well armored and armed. Let me just increase our abilities here. Cleave would be nice, but I'm guessing I'll be using Whirlwind a lot, so let's do it. We're gonna be facing a lot of enemies. As for focus, can we get something to improve that? Probably not. Well, we have the potions. Man, even on an SSD, this game's loading screens take some time.
Blazes, battle noises. They're already inside.
They are. Come, let's go get an overview.
Yes?
Helen's reigns. This doesn't look good.
Tahar, you're awake.
He is, and he has got some interesting stories to tell.
But they'll have to wait. Where are Isgrim and Gore?
I don't know. They weren't in the Nexus when the fight broke out. I'd say they've taken matters into their own hands.
What are your orders, Tahar? This doesn't look good.
We have to seal the entrances. If they breach through either one of them, we're done with.
Then we need to split up. I'll get some of my men and make a stand in the southwest.
Then I'll take over the northwest. That's the hardest one for them to reach, so chances are they still haven't made it.
Then we'll help you.
Good. And Tahar, if what that scout said is true, and House Utran is really part of this attack, don't harm her. I know my sister, and this does not make any sense at all. There must be a reason for all of this.
I didn't even know Lady Utran is your sister.
I don't blame you. Northander politics and family bonds are complicated, but yes, she is my sister. And since her husband, Lord Rickard Utran, died, she's the ruler of the Utran lands, which makes this development as dangerous as it's bizarre. The fact that House Leonida is supporting the Harbinger is bad enough.
I'll do my best. Good luck, Angar. We'll come to your help once the other entrances are secured.
Do that. Nihalth guide your sword, Tahar.
Yes?
Okay, here we are. I think I'll go help Gore first. Yeah, but before we do that, let's just level up their abilities. So, block chance is always nice, but let's get spell power. We'll need his spells. Yana. Yana is always gonna get gangbanged, so focus regeneration isn't gonna do much. Critical chance for assassination. Whirlwind would also work, but we'll see. Now Uram, definitely want that demon. Now where's that demon? Demonic Strike, we can replace that. Come on. That's it.
Is there anything you need?
As for loot,
What do we need?
so Rowan, can we give you... Man, those 2 additional targets, especially in this mission, it's gonna make a difference. Yeah, I don't think I'll change anything.
Zarek's fangs. Tahar.
Okay. Uram. I'll give him something, just... All of them have rings, okay. Also amulets. Okay,
Yes?
we're fine.
Yes? Now would you look at...
Blazes, it is you. Last time I saw you, you were lying on that stone bed like a bloody corpse.
That's about how I felt when I woke up. What's the situation? I don't see any Purity men around here.
No, not Purity, but someone else. According to my scout, they're gathering their forces down that valley. My gut tells me they're waiting for reinforcements.
If it's not the Purity, who are we dealing with? Another one of the royal houses?
No, I don't think so. To me, they look like bandits. But they're fighting under Aeonir's banner. And the man my Kayran hunter took down had the Purity symbol tattooed right across his forehead.
The Bane. The ones who massacred the Northander outpost in Leafshade.
Huh. Yeah, that fits.
Damn it. What's the plan then?
Well, now that you're here, I say you move out and crush them. We'll hold our position and cover your backs.
Simple enough. All right then. Move out, Corporal.
Almost too simple, but let's do it. Let's test that demon. Oh yes, so awesome.
I am ready.
I can't wait to see Uram against Hokan, if they ever do it. But it lasts, yeah, 2 shows.
Yes?
Well, it would be kind of overpowered. You guys don't regenerate? You do, but slowly.
Anything on your mind?
There should be more purity here.
Yes?
Oh, yeah.
The fabled pariah. Interesting. I thought you were dead.
Yeah, let's just get
Let's
this
just get this over with, shall we?
My words exactly. Not bad, Tahar. Not bad.
Any last words?
Yeah. Listen.
Let,
What
yeah.
the?
Go
There
after
goes.
me and lose your city and your friend, or save them and let me go. Your choice.
She got away.
No time to go
Get
after her.
there.
We need to secure the entrance.
What? Really? Yes.
Well, they can't kill Gore, so that's something. Yeah, there's not much you can do to save the orcs.
A trap. I should have seen that.
Their leader got away.
I figured. But it won't be the last time we see her. We secured the entrance. That's what matters. What about the rest of the city? They attacked from all sides at once.
Yes, I know. We'll take care of it. Just hold your position for now. Once all this is over, we'll meet at the Nexus.
Understood. Don't die, Tahar.
I'll do my best.
Yeah.
Now, the southwest, the southeast, and the northeastern entrance are still undefended.
Then we need to take care of them.
We'll get there. Okay, let's go and meet Iskrim.
Well,
I think
careful.
he's on the northwestern entrance. There he is.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. Stay where you are. These things aren't just here for bugger and blast. You just had to find out for yourself, didn't you?
Well,
What's
yeah.
next?
Nice Utran troops. You can see the colors are different. The skin.
Interesting.
What the... Tahar? Is that you?
I'll explain later. What's the situation? What are those things?
My newest invention. Or, to be more precise, my newly recovered Shaper technology. I call them, Death Towers.
Death Towers?
Yeah. While you were asleep, I did some more research on how the Shapers used the Nexus to defend their city. This is the result, though they won't hold forever. And my gut tells me the Utrans are up to something, because I haven't seen Lady Moira yet.
So it's true? House Utran is fighting for the purity?
Yeah, and quite viciously so. In other words, your awakening couldn't be more timely.
What do you suggest?
Well, as you know, I'm not the best at tacticians, but from what I saw, the attacks are currently coordinated.
Yeah, it's just... You could take longer talking.
Let's see.
Yes.
What the... Tahar?
Really? Again?
Is that you?
I'll explain later. What's the situation? What are those things?
My newest invention? Yeah. Though they won't hold forever.
So it's true?
Yeah.
What do you suggest?
Well, as you know, I'm not the best at tactician. If we stay here and make sure no one gets through, you could take out those commanders in the meantime.
Got it. I'll come back when it's done.
Good. Ní half guide your blade, friend.
Let's go then.
Leave it to me.
Our heroes are pretty damn strong.
Prepare yourselves.
Let's save the demon for the commanders.
I'll make it quick.
Anything on your mind?
I understand.
Well, or maybe not. Let's just spawn him right there.
I'm injured.
Killed one of our heroes.
Come on, get it. Nice. Well, we have to fall.
Good.
Killed
Now let's
one of
find the
our
other one.
heroes.
Now each of you get them up.
Don't die on us
Stay
now.
with me.
Get up.
Blazes! That's Lady Myra Utran. We need to help Iskrim.
Yes.
That's done. Let's go back. Pretty damn cool portrait. But it has nothing to do with her. As is usual in SpellForce 3. Portraits don't match the character.
Die already! Blazes, what's the matter with her? She's
All right. One more step and I'll slit my throat.
Lady Mira, what?
Shut up!
What the?
I don't understand. Why did you betray the crown? Explain yourself.
Explain yourself. Oh, Tahar, you must understand the situation. You're not in a position to give orders. So here's what's gonna happen. You will let me walk away unharmed. You can have my soldiers, I don't care. But if you make only one wrong move, I will end this by slitting my throat.
Lady Mira, what?
You heard me. So, Tahar, what shall it be?
Yeah.
Fine. Get out of here.
A man of reason. One more thing, though, before I leave.
What?
You will repent. All of you.
Yeah. Somehow we're not afraid.
What? I mean, what was that?
I have absolutely no idea.
Well,
Interesting.
That is... Wait. I have a theory.
About what happened to Myra?
Yeah, but let's talk about that later. I think this entrance should be safe for now. The Death Towers will make sure of that. But what about the rest of the city?
I'm on it. We'll meet at the Nexus when, if, this mess is taken care of. Be on your guard, Iskrim.
Of course. Thank you again, Tahar. Well, I'm glad you're back.
There's still 2 entrances we haven't covered yet. Let's hope it's not too late.
Let's go on to the south.
Yes?
Yeah, that focus regeneration isn't great.
Tahar, you're awake.
Shit. So they've already breached the outer walls.
They will soon. That masked thing on the other side. I don't know how he does it, but he's draining me.
Drain?
Yeah.
Iria!
Yeah, we'll give you some whispering.
Blazes, what kind of magic is that? Ready yourself, Tahar!
The Purity is pretty damn well armored. Well, have a demon. Boom. So awesome. Just smack the priest.
Fine. Shit!
Two of them.
Help me for heck's sake! One down!
Not the real one.
Finished.
Ellen's reins. What happened?
The barrier gave up.
Blazes. For someone who just came back from the dead, you're in good shape. Whatever your mother did to you, it seems to help. What about that masked fellow? Where is he?
We've taken care of him. At least for now. Are you injured?
No, just a scratch. Seems like Scryer Elion got the worst of it.
Can you take care of her? We have to make sure the other entrances are safe.
Yes. I'll get her to the Nexus as quick as possible. Be careful, Corporal. I have a feeling that masked priest wasn't Lycane's only ace up the sleeve.
Probably not. Stay safe, Iria.
Oh,
Almost
yes,
through.
indeed.
Just one more entrance to go.
All the more reason to hurry.
What do you require?
Now we'll need the demon for this part.
For anything you need?
Well, you don't need it, but it's gonna be really useful. Let's save up that focus. This should be the last one. I don't think there... Quite a lot of orcs here. You guys would have been useful over there.
Are you deaf? I said no! That machine will squash you like an insect!
Yes. Now would you...
You're here. Good. I assume that means the Northwest is secured.
It is. How about you?
Well, we managed to fend off their first attack. They aren't Purity, though.
What then?
Mercenaries. They don't have a banner, so they could be about anyone. Thing is, they've put up a siege weapon of sorts right up that hill, which prevents us from retaliating.
What kind of weapon?
I don't know. It looks like some kind of catapult, but it seems to be magic-fueled and throws fireballs which cause massive damage. We're out of reach, but the moment we move against their camp, it'll decimate us within seconds.
Whereas, if you attack the machine directly, the mercenaries themselves will fall into your backs.
Or swarm right into the city, yes. We weren't enough to split up, but now we are. Good timing, in other words.
So you want us to destroy that weapon?
Yes. The moment it is down, we'll go for their strong point.
Understood. Let's get this done.
Seems easy enough. We'll see if it is.
I understand.
Now you can already tell who the mercenaries are. Let's try and get that catapult.
There it is. Take it down.
Shit! Kill them!
Nice.
That should do it.
Then we should join Angar. He'll need help with his attack.
Blazes! Help me, somebody!
What?
Help me, for heck's sake!
Take out that Winter Mage.
Damn it! I need healing.
Yes?
There he is.
Blazes. This is Commander Katras from Aenir's Deathmen.
So he's fighting for the Purity now.
Corporal Tahar. What a surprise.
Katras, why?
Don't talk, friend. Fight.
Well, let's get elemental imbuing for everyone. Poor bastard.
Yes.
Okay, is he willing to talk now? Yes, he is.
Let's see.
Blazes, Tahar. Now I know why Lacane wants you dead. You really know how to fight.
Yeah.
Give me one reason not to kill you.
I guess I can't. Can't help with that. Look, this isn't personal. Lacane and his fanatics took down my camp and gave me a choice. Repent and accept the light, or have some stern-faced priest ram a bloody pike up me arse. So, unless you have some odd fantasies that I don't want to know about, don't tell me you wouldn't have done the same.
A loyal man wouldn't have.
Well, good thing I never swore loyalty to you or the Empire, isn't it? Don't kid yourself, Lord Marshal. You would have done the exact same thing. Pretend all you like. In the end, we're all selfish pieces of shit. And the only difference between me and you is that I'm honest about it.
Any last words?
I hate to disappoint, but we're not quite there yet, friend. Goodbye, Tahar. Too bad we couldn't be on the same side this time.
What the?
The teleport rune. Wise choice.
Bloody coward. At least we secured the entrance. That's what matters. What about the rest of the city? Are we safe?
Not yet. Hold your position for now. We'll meet at the Nexus once all this is over.
Understood. Tiara's blessings, Tahar.
And we're done. I think.
So many casualties. I just don't understand. We just ended one war. Now the Harbinger starts another.
Human nature, Tahar. People need an enemy. Peace is always fleeting.
Do you really think so?
I do.
What do you mean? She was possessed. This doesn't make any sense.
I'm afraid it does. But again, I have a theory. Let's wait for Tahar.
There you are. I've assigned troops to guard the entrances and double the defenses. If the Harbinger ever strikes again, we'll be prepared.
Yeah, let's just...
Good work.
Anyway, there are more important things we need to discuss now. For starters, what, by the Guardians, happened to my sister?
That's a damn good question. Iskrim, you said that you have a theory.
Well, yeah, I do. The rune. While you were asleep, I tinkered with it a little.
You think the rune has something to do with this?
A rune. But it's probably best if I show you. Follow me, Tahar.
Yes. I'm going to.
All right, let's see. Turn around.
Tiara's breath.
This is where things get interesting.
Step forward. So, you get the idea.
Mind control.
Yeah. There are still some critical problems with it, and what I've done is far from what the Harbinger did with Lady Moira. But, Tahar, this rune, it has so much potential. If you thought what it does with the Godstones was fascinating, it's just the beginning. The Shapers, the Khazarlanthep, they knew their full potential. And this is the reason they were so powerful. Do you see it now? They...
Have you lost your bloody mind? Stop that! Whatever it is! Stop it now!
What?
Stop it for fuck's sake!
Fine. You're free. Go and take a nap.
Unbelievable. This is unbelievable.
So you actually possessed those men?
No, I mean, yeah, the rune did. Look, Tahar, I know that I was maybe a bit too enthusiastic here, but can't you see the potential? Those soldiers, they do anything you command them to, without batting an eyelid.
Oh, yes. I would really like to see more of this.
They still look hypnotized. Are they free now?
Yeah. It may take a while to recover, but tomorrow they won't remember anything. So it's not that bad. Who knows? Maybe they would have died in the fight if they hadn't been under my control.
True.
Iskrin, this is wrong. Completely, utterly wrong.
Alright, just cool your head, will you? I know my way of handling things might not have been optimal, but hey, at least now we know what we're up against. Could at least give me that much credit.
Just never do something like this again. And you think that the Harbinger controls Lady Myra, right?
Yes, and in an extraordinarily powerful way, if I may say so.
Huh. In other words, we need to find a way to break that possession. Right now, House Utran is under the Harbinger's control.
Madness. This is madness.
Whatever it is, let's tend to the wounded first. We'll discuss everything else in the Nexus.
Yes. Let's do that.
Oh man, rune magic. This is what I want to see.
Alright, let's catch our breath first. Angar, I'll talk to you when I'm ready to discuss the next steps.
Good. I'll be waiting.
Okay then, we have a lot of people to level up here. Okay, Angar, he has everything to level up. We'll make him a fighter. Constitution and strength. Unless... let's see... warfare. So he'll benefit from anything melee. And we'll give him dual wielding weapons. That's it. Auras. That's a perk, so definitely get it. Awesome. Let's apply it. And brutality. Yeah. That seems fine. The Vampiric Great Axe is still better, I think. Just in terms of leech, but I'll let him keep his Great Sword. The piercing damage is also good. Actually, no. We have higher damage and it'll give him health, so let's give him the axe. Also, armor. His armor is good. Helmet. Just have... that doesn't match at all. I won't do it. Yeah, that's not great, but better. Yeah, let's let him keep that. No, yeah, keep that. And he's fine. So who else leveled up? Yana, already done. Undergast. Okay, so if we talk to them, we might be able to get their final abilities. So before we level all of them up, damn, his auras are, yeah, already at maximum. Shape-shifting for gore. It is useful. So we'll have to hear all of their backstories if we want to level them up. So let's do it. Maybe we'll be able to get their final abilities.
Ah, Tahar. Never mind.
Something on your mind?
Well, maybe. Remember when you asked me about Rain? The other gifted shaman from my tribe.
Yeah? What about it?
I want to talk about it. I'm not supposed to, but I don't know. I trust you, Tahar, and I've kept silent about this for far too long. Zarek's fangs is so
Angar
silly.
just
Feel like a damn child.
Well, spit it out already.
Gore, just spit it out already.
Right. Where do I start? Before becoming a shaman, every disciple has to go through a trial. The Iron Trial, as it's called. I told you that I did most of my training in solitude, didn't I? That wasn't true. 5 years after I entered disciplehood, another orc was accepted by my elder, a female named Rain. She was 2 years younger than me.
I thought only male orcs can be gifted.
No. It's just that for female orcs, it's even rarer to have magic. Which is why there are close to no female shamans.
Huh. How did you get along?
Well, at first, I was a complete dick to her.
As you are to anyone.
I was jealous and feared for my position. However, she never took offense by it. She fired back at me when I got childish, but at the same time never lowered herself to my level. As the years went by, we became friends. And no, there was no courting or mating involved, if that's what you're thinking. She was more like a sister to me, and one who, unlike my true kin, understood me. Those years in the Orcish steppes, they were special. We spent days, weeks out in the wild, doing whatever our elder tasked us with. And though it was hard, there was beauty in that. We just had this connection between us, this trust.
But something happened, am I right?
Yeah, the trial did. The sacred test every disciple has to take before he or she can become a shaman. Our elder sent us both at the same time, which was unusual. But of course I was relieved. There was plenty of talk about the Iron Trial, and I was scared.
How did Rain feel about it?
Same as I. Believe me, Tahar, only a fool would have entered into the trial with a smug smile on his face. We knew what was ahead of us.
What did you know about the trial?
Rumors. Shamans are forbidden to talk about it. But it was known that only half of those who take it return at all.
So what happened?
We, Zarek's fangs. I can't believe I'm telling you this. I'm breaking my oath.
Well, yeah.
For what it's worth, I'll keep silent about it, I promise.
I know you will, Tahar. Otherwise, we wouldn't be having this conversation. We weren't told much about the trial. Only that we'd have to venture to a cave, far up in Bargar Gore. They also didn't tell us how to get there. Only that Zarek would guide us. And he did. After a week of traveling, we found it. It was a strange place, Tahar. I saw that right from the beginning. The entrance looked like a mouth, the rocks surrounding it like the bones of an old, forgotten beast, and the stalagmites like hundreds of teeth. But of course, we went in. We had to.
What did you find?
A giant hall. It was as mesmerizing as it was unsettling. There were murals and carvings all over the cave walls. Old glyphs that I'd never seen before.
Shaper?
Shaper glyphs, maybe.
No, not Shaper. They looked as if the Guardians themselves had carved them into the rock.
Interesting. What else was there?
Nothing. That's what baffled me. Apart from those murals, the hall was completely empty. And for some reason, the ground in that hall was completely smooth, like polished stone. There were braziers, one in each corner of the hall, and they were burning brightly. Rain was as confused as I was. But nonetheless, we entered the hall. And that's when the trouble began. Because all of a sudden, the exit was gone. No magical noise, nothing. Just in that moment when we looked the wrong direction, it disappeared. And instead of it, we were looking at another wall.
Strange. What did you do?
Well, after we calmed down a little, we assessed our situation. We figured that this was the Iron Trial, and that it was our task to find another exit. So we started looking. But it was pointless. There was nothing. We couldn't even hear the wind anymore. For the next 14 days, we were trapped. We couldn't make that wall disappear, and no matter how long we studied the glyphs, how long we prayed, nothing happened. On the 5th day, our provisions had come to an end, save for half a skin of water and a handful of jerky. On the 8th day, it was all gone.
Blazes. How did you survive?
I'm getting there. As you can imagine, the thirst was the worst. It drove us mad, and we searched every corner of that goddamn hall for just a drop of water. Not that we hadn't looked before, but as you know, hope dies last. Have you ever had thirst, Tahar? Real thirst?
No.
No.
And hope it stays that way. I'd rather bleed out on a pole than experience that again. On the 11th day, Rain and I were puking our guts out. Our skin had literally started to crack, and I felt as if I was burning from within. On the 12th day, we were only an inch from death. That's when the dream came.
A dream?
Yes, a shared dream, almost like a vision. We were still in that hall, Rain and I, but we were out of our bodies, floating like spirits. At first I thought we had died, then I saw what was different. The floor was full of blood, and that blood was burning. The murals and glyphs had started moving, twisting, like shadows dancing on a wall. That's when I first understood what they were depicting. For some reason in the real world, I'd never been able to.
What did they depict?
It showed what was expected from us. What we had to do to get out. Sorry this isn't easy. I've dreamed about those weeks ever since. But telling someone, it feels bizarre. Zarek demanded a fight. Either one of us died by the hands of the other, or we would die there together. The Iron Trial. We were never both meant to pass.
So you fought each other?
No. Trial or not, I would have rather died than done that. And that's precisely what I told Rain. A god that demands a man to kill his own sister is not a god that deserves worship by anyone. But Rain wouldn't have it. She claimed that if both of us died, both of our lives would be wasted for nothing. I got angry and asked her if she meant that she wanted to fight me. She said no.
I don't understand.
She wanted me to kill her. She told me that she was already too weak to make it down the mountain anyway, but that I could still make it. Believe me, Tahar, if there had been any strength left in me, I would have punched her just for suggesting it.
And yet, you're here.
I am. I should have known before she even did it. She always had to have it her way, no matter the price. It happened when I was asleep. She took my dagger from its sheath, put it into my hand, and drove it through her throat without hesitation. When I opened my eyes, her blood was already all over my face. And as if Zarek had been watching all along, the wall disappeared. No noise. Just like that. The wind was back, and it was raining outside. The first time in months. I like to think that she saw it before she died.
Did you make the descent?
I did. There were berries in a mountain goat that had been hit by a rock slide, right next to the exit. It was so absurd I almost had to laugh. When I got back to the Elder's shack, I screamed at him, then broke down and started to cry. He just listened. In the end, he told me that we had both known what had been at stake. Yet we agreed. choice and consequence. He made me a shaman the next day.
Well...
Do you blame yourself sometimes?
Of course I do. But ultimately, it was her choice. And all I can do to honor her now is to respect it.
I see.
There's one more thing. Remember when you asked me why I feel the way I do about our culture? Why I think we orcs should strive for more? It's Rain who made me realize that. Most orcs would have fought each other in that cave, to the death. But she didn't. Instead of submitting to her primal instincts, she made a sacrifice. One that I could have made too, if I hadn't been such a coward. Blazes, it feels strange to have told you all this. But, I don't regret it.
Well, thanks for trusting me with this, Gore.
Let me have some time for myself right now, all right? I need to think.
Damn. Yeah, that's a lot of backstory, but that's one of the things I like about SpellForce 3. And this is... I know a lot of people can be put off about an orc having that. But SpellForce orcs never had, well, complex storylines, so... Some people might be put off by all this storyline. But I'm not, and this is Gore, the orc that eventually will become most powerful orc, so... His backstory needs to be different. Now we get Shapeshift. Finally, he can turn into a Tri-Beater. Personally, I would rather use his fire spells than the Tri-Beater, but we'll see. Fire Spark, yeah, I'll keep it. So now all that's left is Iria. She's down here.
Will do.
It's gonna take a while, but enjoy the backstories.
Understood.
Or just skip it if you already have done so. Yeah, this one's pretty good. They're all pretty good.
Ah, I was hoping you'd come by. That was quite the surprise visit, wasn't it? The Harbinger couldn't have picked a better time for his attack.
I guess you could say that. How's your injury? That blast from the barrier looked quite painful.
The blast? Oh yeah, sure. I'm as good as new. One of the perks of being a light mage. Tahar, I'm sorry. For everything.
What do you mean?
Well, what you discovered in that dungeon. I didn't see that coming, honestly. I mean, I'd always felt you were different, but an experiment of your father? I would have never guessed. And now that bastard Lacane took your mother. It's just... one tragedy follows another. Now I feel almost ridiculous thinking about my supposed problems.
We can still save her.
Yeah, I know. And we will. Blazes. How crazy does that all sound? A half-shaper whose mother's spirit has been stolen by a religious fanatic. If all this weren't actually happening, I'd think I'd be watching a bad play. Though you'd definitely be the tragic hero in this. And I don't envy you.
Well, who would? Okay.
A bit of normality would be nice for a change.
I can imagine. Tell me, Tahar. If you had had the choice, would you have wanted to know? About your mother and how you were born?
Well, doesn't really matter, does it?
It doesn't really matter, does it? I found out, and now I have to deal with it.
Well, if you can see it that way, then I envy you. I always wonder about the what-ifs. Anyway, Shaper or not, it's good to have you back. Honestly, there were times when I was worried you wouldn't ever wake up again.
I'm touched.
You better be. Anyway, in case you were wondering, I'm not planning to leave now. If you need my help, I'll be here.
Thanks, Iria. I really appreciate it.
Great. And now that we've got that out of the way, you should get some more sleep. You still look like a walking corpse. Don't make a habit out of it. I'll talk to you later.
A corpse that just took out an army, but okay.
Interesting.
Corporal? Need anything?
Okay, but do we... Oh, this is new?
Tell me a bit about your time on the road. What was it like?
Is that a command, Corporal?
Apparently we already
Never
done.
mind.
Alright.
You never told me why you fled Finn and Mir.
Fair enough. You've given me little reason to distrust you, so... Oh well. Let's just get this over with. I already told you about my father. How to him I had always been more of an asset. Well, after my father died, I decided to become a novice.
A novice?
Someone aspiring to be a priest of Ellen. I don't know why I did it. It was something my father had always considered a backup plan if an arranged marriage wouldn't work out. Part of it was probably because obeying my father was all I knew at that time.
What does life as a priest of Ellen look like?
Boring. Though not as boring as a Nortander monk's life. You are free to have family and to indulge in the earthly pleasures. Still,
that's definitely
your life
better.
is devoted to worship. And for a priest of Ellen, that means healing the sick and preserving Ellen's greatest gift, nature.
Seems pretty cool.
Was it difficult to receive the novitiate?
Not for me. First of all, I was a good candidate. I was still very young, not even in my 30s. And I already knew a great deal about magic and healing. Secondly, I was, after all, pure blood. That helped as well.
But something happened.
Yes. In my first year, I fell in love. That crazy, hot-blooded, head-over-the-heels kind of love that the bards all sing about. The boy felt the same way, and for the next year it was, well, it was perfect. It was the two of us against the world. Maybe you know that feeling.
Well.
Huh. And I guess your romance didn't end well.
You guess right. But it was more than that. You know, I told you how I always felt estranged around other people. I knew how to put on a smile, how to make myself fit in, but it was always fake. Shallow. With him, it was different. Dramatic as it may sound, I thought I had finally found someone who understood me. Then there was the novitiate. Despite all the time I sunk into doing the crazy things lovers often do, I never failed as a student. Or, no, let's put it another way. I was the best, in every aspect.
Which didn't sit well with some people.
No. And eventually, they made sure I felt it. They excluded me from everything, stared at me when I walked by. It hurt, yes, but I convinced myself it didn't. I've always been good at that.
Did it take a toll on your relationship with that boy?
More than that. My lover's friends started manipulating him. Telling him that I only saw him as my pet, that he was a failure, and that I only kept him around to feel good about myself.
Well...
What? And he listened to them? That's pathetic.
Maybe. But he was young, same as I, and young people often do irrational things. You see, we novices all knew that only 4 out of 20 will be granted priesthood at the end of our training. And being a failed novice leaves you with a mark you'll keep for the rest of your life. It all looked peaceful on the surface, but beneath that it was an arena. And these other novices, they made sure my friend became aware of that fact. To him, I started being a rival as well. And do you want to know the biggest joke of it all? I didn't see it. The idea that, I don't know, that he would listen to them. That he would ever reach a point where he'd put what we had below his hurt pride and his fears. It never crossed my mind.
So what happened?
Well, he knew I was curious by nature, so... One night, when we were in bed together, he suddenly asked me if I wanted to go on an adventure. Of course I said yes. So we snuck out into the cloister's courtyard. It was beautiful. The night was cloudless, and the old oak, our cloister shrine, had just begun to bloom. We made our way to the library building, but of course the door was locked. Out of nowhere, he pulled a key, grinning at me, and opened it. It was insane. As you can imagine, priests aren't known for being lenient towards these kinds of trespassings. We were risking our novitiate, and I didn't even know the reason, but I liked it. And we were doing it together, weren't we? It was exciting. He took my hand and we went to the High Priestess's office. We opened the door and went inside, and there he finally told me what we were here for, to open the grimoire.
Grimoire?
The High Priestess's spellbook. It was a stupid idea. And if I hadn't been so blind, so bloody naive, I should have seen it by then. But I didn't.
What did he ask you to do?
To open it and try to read one of the spells. He teased me. Told me that I wouldn't be able to do it. You know, saying it like that. It sounds so bloody stupid, doesn't it?
Because it is.
But again, I was too blind. I laughed. I wanted to impress him, so I gave him a kiss. Opened the page and started saying the words. Long story short, I lost control. The spell was too much for me to handle and it misfired. One moment I was staring at the pages, the next one the library was aflame and my lover was gone.
How far did that fire spread?
Not far. It was put out before it could do real damage. But, of course, that was the end of novitiate. I was thrown into the cell of shame and sentenced to 12 years of polishing prayer banks and cleaning floors in the shrine.
But you never did polish those prayer banks, am I right?
No. In the night after the trial, they still let me sleep in my chamber. Thoughtlessness, I suppose, or maybe they simply didn't care. I got my things, left, and never came back. So, here it is, the whole truth. No dark secrets, no assassinations, no necromantic rituals. Just a plain old broken heart. Compared with all that shit you had to go through, it almost sounds ludicrous.
Well... Let's be nice here.
It doesn't. Being betrayed by someone you trust often hits the hardest.
Yeah, I guess. It's just... I don't get it. How could he give all that up? I mean, there was something between us, you know? Something rare, something precious. But no. He threw it all away for his fucking vanity. But in a way, it's just a continuation of what I've always known. Wherever I am, I'm a stranger. People don't like me, and I don't like them.
For what it's worth, I'm glad our paths crossed.
Yeah. Me too, Corporal. Me too. I'd like some... space now. I hope you don't mind. Let's talk later.
Yes.
Yeah, fine.
Will do.
Okay, let's go here. To Andrew's body. We also have that. Well, might as well get this. Now all that's left is Rowan, Undercast and Yana. It's quite a lot of dialogue, I know. You guys can skip it if you don't want to listen to it. I kinda like it.
What do we need?
I like the backstories, but at the same time, if some of you might remember that in The Order of Dawn, and the soundtrack is awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, so in The Order of Dawn it's mentioned that the civilizations or the different races gathered these circle mages and formed the circle, but over here they're basically a team, so they did switch up the canon a bit. But, well, that's nitpick.
Let's see. She's breathing, but her spirit is gone. Damn you, Lacane. What's next?
Okay, just that.
Got it.
Fine. So Rowan is outside. Do we need to talk to his Grim? No, we don't need to. Invulnerability, we'll get it. I'm not sure if I'm gonna use it right now. Come on. These loading screens could use some improvement. Yes, we should also visit the merchants. Not right now. The video is gonna be already pretty long with all these dialogues.
Now would you look at that?
Yes, Corporal? How can I help?
So, let's see.
About you being an assassin. You said that you might be willing to tell me more about that at another time. How about now?
I'm still not certain. The question really is, do you want to know? It might change something.
Well, I wouldn't have asked otherwise. Tell me.
All right. Where should I begin? Do you remember what I told you about that man who bought me from the Greyfell Bazaar? My owner? I also told you that after an incident, he discovered my talents and made me an assassin.
I remember. But what does that have to do with your morality?
It's complicated. The incident took place at a festivity. A lot of highly influential people were there, servants of the crown, wealthy merchants, nobles. My master knew all of Greyfell's elites. As always, at these festivities, it was my and the other slaves' responsibility to ensure the guests' well-being. It must have been close to midnight when a man took me into his chambers. I'd learned to play along years ago because resisting only made it worse. This time, however, was different. For some reason, that man wanted me to tell him that I loved him. I did, but he kept on telling me that I should say it like I really mean it. When I couldn't, he got angrier and started choking me. I had almost lost consciousness when I felt something break. I don't know how else to put it. It was as if my mind simply cracked open, like a crystal ball smashed against a mirror. And all of a sudden, that man and I weren't separate entities anymore.
I don't follow.
My magic, my dreamweavery, that's when it broke free. You probably don't know this, but the only way to become a dreamweaver is by shattering your mind. You are opening yourself to the thoughts and emotions of others, but you lose your own.
She's twitching a lot. Let's go here. Damn, that's some pretty damn dark backstories. But what do you expect?
Wait, Dreamweavers don't feel and think?
No, we do. But it's differently than normal people. Me. The Iana you're talking with is the result of long work and studying of human behavior. I know how to blend in, to seem like I'm just like you. But the world inside my head is an entirely different one. Again, it is almost impossible to put into words if you're not a dreamweaver yourself.
What happened to the man?
I killed him. It wasn't a conscious choice, looking back. I even think that shattering my mind was my body's way of ensuring survival. I closed my eyes, reached out for the man's mind, and just crushed it. The man gasped, lost balance, and fell right off the bed. He wasn't dead yet, but unable to move. Like a puppet rid of its strings. At first I was disoriented. But then I felt it, for the first time. The urge.
To kill him?
Yes. To massacre him. Hear his screams. To see his life taken by my hand. I grabbed a lantern that was standing on a bedside table and knelt over him, and... well, you can picture the rest. To get back to your original question, that urge, it stuck with me. I think that the moment when my mind shattered and I became a dreamweaver was what unlocked it. Ever since then, I've found violence and bloodshed to be ecstatic, erotic even. And when I kill someone, like I killed that man, I feel alive. Actually, it's one of the few times I am capable of feeling anything at all.
Huh. And this is why you became an assassin?
Yes. My master introduced me into the craft. Probably because he knew that my dreamweavery had changed me. I wasn't just a slave child anymore. I was a weapon now. More than that, even. I needed what these new tasks my master sent me on provided me with. It had become a basic need of mine. Of course, I briefly considered changing my profession after my master had his accident. But I didn't. Killing is something I need, as much as a child needs the love of his mother. If I don't feed my urge, I will die. Not physically, but mentally. I just know this.
Well, damn.
That's a lot to take in.
I know. Now tell me, Tahar. Do you regret asking me this question? Knowing all this, do you think I'm a monster?
Kinda, but no.
You're not.
Really? That's unexpected. Anyway, I would like some time for myself now. I hope you understand.
That's a pretty shitty hobby. Well, what do you like doing? Well, murdering people.
What do we need? Got it.
Okay, Undergast and Rowan. So Yana, we still need to progress further in the storyline.
Tahar, it is good to see that you have recovered. This place and these people lack guidance without you.
They did?
Yes. The Lord Marshal tried to assume control, but as you might have expected, he did not have everybody's support. I was even fearing an internal power struggle, and I'm glad it did not come to that. I must say, Tahar, your mother, she is remarkable. I have always wondered what the Shapers look like, and now I do. It is fascinating, though I suppose this is a difficult topic for you. Forgive me if my words were inappropriate.
It's all right.
Good. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about? Yes? What is it?
So, Undergast, when you told me about your split with Lena, I got the feeling that you were more than just colleagues.
Tahar, you're a
You were
nosy
asking
one.
if we were in love. Am I correct?
Well, yeah, I guess.
Then let me start by telling you that the term love is undefined and that theories about it conflict one another. I have read a lot of books on it, and I've studied the poems, and I've come to the conclusion that it is ultimately a primitive, carnal urge that people have come to romanticize for the emotions that come with it. I, myself, never felt it, and maybe that was because I saw the underlying mechanisms. I always found it strange how people overreact so strongly to such a simple emotion, and maybe that very fact stopped me from being able to feel these emotions at all.
Interesting, but I'm not sure it works like that.
So, what you're saying is that you were never able to feel love, but then Lena came along and you did.
No, it was not that simple. What stood out in our relationship was that we connected. I've never felt that before. You see, Tahar, to me, the bonds people have always felt peculiar, and I am not like Yana. Her mind simply does not have the ability to feel these bonds anymore. She had them once, but then she lost them, as she became a dreamweaver. My brain is capable of feeling these things, but I am unable to connect with the outside world. I only have my own mind as a frame of reference. For example, when a person tells you yes, whereas he or she means no, you might be able to feel this discrepancy because you are able to empathize with her. I can't. To me, this person's distress would make no sense whatsoever. But then there was Lena. For some bizarre reason, she understood me and I understood her. Or at least, I thought that I did. It was as if this barrier, this shell that separates my mind from others, was pervious to her emotions. I know how strange it sounds, and I also have no explanation for why this was, yet it changed me. All at once, I felt connected. Do you know this feeling, Tahar? You have traveled with these people for quite some time now. Is there anyone you were, well, fond of?
Well, yeah, maybe.
Well, yes, there is.
I see. Then you probably know how distracting such a feeling can be. To be honest, when I first became aware of that bond between Lena and me, I was horrified. I could not focus anymore. When I sat down to write my studies, I realized after hours that none of what I had written made sense at all.
Am I right to assume that your relationship ended with your disagreement over the Creators Guild abandoning its neutrality?
No, you misunderstand. We never had a relationship. Although the feelings were mutual and we, well, acted on them, we never felt the need to bind ourselves to some close-minded societal construct. But yes, you are correct. It was the disagreement that broke our bond. quietly she left and never returned again.
How do you feel about this?
That is a good question. I still think about her, almost every day. But the more time passes, the more this entire episode starts to feel like a vague, distant dream, the way an elder must feel about youth. I do not know how I would feel if I ever saw her again.
I can imagine. Well, thank you for trusting me with this, Undergast.
You have nothing to thank me for. If this conversation helped you get a better picture of me, I'm glad we had it. But there is one more thing I would like to ask you, Tahar.
Tell me.
Do you have regrets? Do you ever feel as if you could and should have acted differently than you did act?
No.
Impressive. You see, I've never told you this, but I find your resilience to be remarkable.
How so?
Well, it is no secret that you have endured a lot of pain, especially your early childhood must have made a mark on your psyche. But still, you did not give up.
Well, it wasn't always easy.
Of course not. Either way, I think we have spent enough time talking. We should get back to the tasks at hand.
We should. So long, Undergast.
Okay, so still need to progress further.
Will do.
To get his ability. So let's give him... I am relying on him to heal. Yeah, let's do that. So everyone's leveled up. Just Rowan. No. So everyone's done. So we have just Rowan to speak to before we talk to Angar. So bear with me, guys. Some of you might not like the dialogues or the backstories.
So,
and I apologize if you don't.
I guess we have some talking to do, don't we?
You knew about my mother, didn't you? That's what you hinted at back at the forge, before we set out to the Eye.
Well, the answer is yes and no. I had suspicions, let us call it that, but they weren't enough to go on, and I had no idea your mother was connected to the Bloodburn.
Why didn't you tell me?
That I believe you might be the result of your father's experiments? That you're the offspring of some long-dead, forgotten race? Tell me, Tahar, what for? I mean, at best, you wouldn't have believed me. And at worst, it would have cost you your sanity. So no, I don't think I should have told you. I didn't know if these suspicions had any substance at all. And I would have been a great risk, especially back then when you were still part of the rebellion.
Where did these suspicions come from? Did my father tell you?
No. And he never found out that I knew. Your father... I don't need to tell you how meticulous he was, do I? That's why he always kept notes of his experiments and studies. I found one, a notebook. The story's actually quite simple. Your father had gone out to meet with Aeolot Iskander, and had tasked me with cleaning up his laboratory.
Really? He never let me into his laboratory.
I know. And he wasn't exactly trustworthy towards me, neither. But you know Asamo. His mood was never what you'd call stable. One day, he'd think the entire rebellion had schemed against him. The next day, he told us that we'd change the world. It was part of his charisma, I guess. Sometimes I think the reason why the Mage Rebellion became so big was less of Asamo's magical powers, rather than his ability to create emotions in his followers. But we digress. So I had found this small booklet on his table. It didn't look important in any way, yet I was immediately curious. I opened it and started reading.
What was in there?
His experiments in the Eye. The ancient woman, as he called her. Your creation, these waxwork figures which he tried to infuse with life. It was disturbing. And at the same time, fascinating, as you can imagine.
Well...
That book. Did it say anything about how this ritual worked? Andrew said something about how the Shapers conceive differently.
I don't think it can be compared to how two humans reproduce, if that's what you're thinking. But as for the details, I don't know. As I said, I barely had 1 hour. And I only got to the chapter about you in the very end.
Do you still have that book?
No, of course not. I couldn't even read through all of it, else your father would have noticed that I had done nothing of what he had tasked me with. And I have no idea where it is now.
I figured. So, why did he, well, create me? My mother said it was to gain access to the Archfire.
Yes, I think that was the main reason. Though I couldn't help but notice a certain, I don't know, warmth in his words when he described his plans.
Yeah, bizarre to say the least.
It just all sounds so bizarre.
Yes, it does. Still, I don't think you were just a tool to him. You weren't. Tell me, Tahar, knowing all that, how does it make you feel?
Well, doesn't really matter.
I don't know. It doesn't change anything about the present.
No, I guess it doesn't. Either way, I think we both need some time to think. As I said, Tahar, I'm sorry that I didn't tell you earlier, but I simply didn't know what to do.
What's next?
Well, at least that's done. And we get more backstory on Tahar. Now we should probably sell some stuff on these merchants, but that's gonna be for a later video. So, thanks a lot for watching. It's a pretty long video. But we repelled the Purity's army and also got a lot of backstory on our companions.
Yes.
So, thanks a lot for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed watching the video, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.